So Volentia kind of started as a convergence of mine and Riya's personal and academic journeys. So for myself, I come from a family of immigrants. So my mom and dad immigrated from China when I was 4. My mom was a gastroenterologist in China. And unfortunately, while she couldn't transfer her medical license over to Canada, she was, however, able to use her skills in her knowledge in both Mandarin and English, helping a lot of our neighbors and friends and family help them translate for their healthcare appointments. So that really instilled a passion in me in not only going into healthcare, but also kind of doing something about the language barriers and the disparities that newcomers, immigrants, and refugees face in the healthcare system.
So for myself, contrary to what some people might think, I actually can't speak Punjabi. I am Punjabi and I do come from a Punjabi background, but I can't actually speak the language. So there is a little bit of difficulty when communicating or helping out the Punjabi community. And there's this concept in Punjabi, a word called seva, which means service, and it's something that my family really values. So providing service to the Punjabi community, and that's something I've had a bit of difficulty with. If I can't speak the language, how can I help out my fellow individuals? And a lot of co-founding with Lynda, Volentia for me was about how can I get around this language barrier and help out my community, and not even just the Punjabi community, but other minority communities as well. So the name Volentia kind of is the epitome of how well Lynda and I work together as co-founders. So we took this linguistics course in undergrad about medical terminology. And when we co-founded Volentia, we were first thinking of healthcare. And so we thought the name should also kind of reflect healthcare and the terminology, which most of the terminology comes from is Greek or Latin. So we were kind of thinking that it should also kind of reflect our mission, and Lynda found this word called benevolentia, which means goodwill in Latin. And we were sitting on it for a while. We thought it was great. Maybe it needed to be tweaked a little or a little bit shorter. Then I thought of, well, why don't we shorten it just to Volentia? And we both just absolutely loved it, and we kind of just knew that was going to be the name.
The name Volentia, I feel like perfectly embodies our mission at Volentia, which is to provide these accessible language services for people. We hope that our service can equip people with a greater voice and enable all voices to be equally heard, valued, and represented. Myself and Riya, we're going to be clinicians in the future serving patient populations. And in our own respective careers, we hope to use our experiences founding and leading Volentia and have the basics of things like language justice and culturally safe care permeate into each of our professions.
On the macro scale, in healthcare, we want to be the go-to language service for all healthcare authorities in Canada and across all provinces. We ideally would love for any Canadian to feel comfortable going to the healthcare system, knowing that they will be able to communicate with their healthcare professional comfortably and efficiently.
On the research side, at the macro level, we want to be able to change research practices to better reflect the needs and experiences of all Canadians. We want to be able to ensure that everyone, regardless of English language proficiency, can equally participate in research.
On the legal side, we want to make sure that all Canadians seeking legal representation can have their story heard and will be fairly represented.